Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago has signed 2 contracts with Perenco for the supply of natural gas. The signing took place during a ceremony at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Port-of-Spain on Friday. Chairman of the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago, Gerald Ramdeen, said the company is now in a better place to provide natural gas to the downstream industry. That is wonderful news. Sadly, though, as much as all this good news is coming out from the Kamala Prasad administration, some of the decisions they are making with these increasing in fines and fees and prices of a lot of different stuff overshadows all this good.
I'm proud to be able to stand here and say to the citizens of this country, to the government and to the ministry, that in the last 9 months, we've been able to secure all our upstream contracts so that our supply on the upstream is secure to be able to confidently make offers to our downstream customers and to provide them with a reasonable price, the volumes that they require, for the term that they require.
The 2 contracts were signed for Block 2C and 3A. Mr. Ramdeen explains that the signing of these agreements have positioned this country positively.
We are in exciting times. We want to work together with Perenco and all our joint venture partners, our upstream suppliers, our multinationals, our customers in the downstream, to demonstrate that Trinidad will once again be the leader in the energy sector, not only in the Caribbean, but in the region.
General Manager of Perenco TNT Limited, Stefan Bach, says the company is pleased to enter into the agreement with the NGC and the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries.
These agreements reflect the renewed trust and commitment between Perenco, its partners, the National Gas Company, and the Ministry, and reinforce our long-term ambition and future in Trinidad and Tobago. We extend our sincere thanks to the National Gas Company and the Ministry of Energy for their collaboration and partnership. I would also like to recognize the work of the teams that have been involved in negotiation, which has been diligent and very efficient.
And Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Karisna Tulsi, says the sign-in demonstrates government support for upstream companies and the NGC to stimulate and boost natural gas production in TNT.
For more good news, though, the United States of America has pledged $6 billion over the next 2 years to support Trinidad and Tobago's health system, focusing on preventing, detecting, and containing public health threats that affect both nations. The funding was announced earlier this month during a meeting between U.S. Charlie J. Francis III, U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Caribbean Office Country Director Dr. Paul Young, and Health Minister Dr. Lakram Bodo. The financial commitment will be used by Trinidad and Tobago's Ministry of Health to support a range of U.S. health priorities, including HIV prevention, life-saving care and treatment, disease surveillance, laboratory improvements, and workforce training. Now, of course, giving credit when credit is due when it pertains to the United National Congress. Unlike the PNM, when they were given donations and the money just disappeared into thin air, usually, and up to now, you're seeing it, when the UNC administration has money that they're taking from the citizens as well, but still has money funding, they invest it in the healthcare system, they invest it in the education system, children receive their laptops. So that's the good, but as I said before, a lot of the good is being overshadowed by negative issues, though. Regional news now. Fishermen in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are being encouraged to continue plying the trade as normal, and rightfully so. This assurance comes from the Minister of Fisheries, Marine and Land Conservation and Climate Resilience, Conroy Huggins. Minister Huggins noted that as the country focuses on developing its blue tourism economy, the incident has placed a spotlight on the sector. He acknowledged the concerns raised by fishermen, many of whom have expressed worry about the potential impact on the fishing industry. No, people, there's nothing to actually worry about. right? Because at the end of the day, the United States of America isn't targeting fishermen contrary to what is being promoted by mainstream media, even in America. The United States of America are targeting boats that are owned and by drug traffickers. And, well, not even human traffickers, but drug traffickers. I mean, nobody use common sense. Unless you are fishing for coca fish and marry fish, you have nothing whatsoever to worry about.
Okay, well, we are aware of boat incident that took place in our economic zone, and something that we find to be somewhat unfortunate. We do not have any official communication as to who's responsible, but it is concerning for all of us, especially those of us in the fishery sector. We are learning recently that there was some situation of jugs washed ashore. I'm not clear as to if that has any correlation, but as it relates to the strike, that incident, I want to say to fishers that we can continue with our fishing. I understand that it may be initially somewhat a bit uneasy, but from what I've been advised, we can as fishers continue to fish, and once we focus within our area of fishing, I think we will be fine. We are now looking to build out the blue economy, and this situation, yes, it is concerning, but we as our fishers can go ahead to continue.
Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Priya Manek-Chan in Guyana has signaled that a nationwide assessment of public markets is underway, with similar outreach visits to continue across Guyana as government moves to craft a coordinated rehabilitation plan for these critical community and economic spaces. We need a whole lot of that in Trinidad and Tobago, the marketplaces, all in Grandia and all. Doesn't look up to standard at all. The minister on Friday engaged vendors and market officials during a walkthrough of the East La Penitence market, following a recent visit to the East Rumvelt market as part of ongoing consultations to evaluate conditions and identify priority interventions. That's what a government's supposed to do, serve the people and seek the needs of the people. During the engagement, vendors outlined several pressing challenges affecting daily operations, including persistent flooding during rainfall, deteriorating roof structures in urgent need of repair, and the overall physical condition of the facility, which they said has contributed to a decline in customer turnout. People don't want to go in dilapidated places like that. The lack of adequate parking was also raised as a major constraint, with shoppers often finding it difficult to access the market because, of course, when you illegally park, even here in Trinidad and Tobago, you are given a $1,000 ticket. So a lot of people say, you know what, forget it, I'll just go by the supermarket where I could probably get parking. Minister Manek-Chan acknowledged that these issues not only undermine vendors' ability to conduct business in a safe and comfortable environment, but also discourage customer traffic, ultimately affecting livelihoods and the vibrancy of the marketplace. Jamaica's Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is now receiving a salary package in line with the public sector compensation review that put the annual basic salary for the office holder at 28.6 million Jamaican dollars as of April 1st, 2024. So he's saying, you know what? Give it time. I'm now obeying the law. Yeah. After careful review and internal consultation, it was agreed that the Prime Minister should conform to the established emoluments and the remuneration for the office. Said the office of the Prime Minister in a statement on Friday. Meanwhile, people are struggling to recover from the destruction of Hurricane Melissa and now have to face increased taxes. The Attorney General of Barbados, Wilfred Abrahams, says he's looking forward to the continued work of government as Parliament opens its first session since Prime Minister Mia Mottley called an early election and won yet again. Arriving at the Parliament buildings, Abrahams Abraham said he welcomes the input of new MPs and ministers, adding, "Our record speaks for itself." It really seems as though the record speaks for itself because she keeps winning over and over again. So our record speaks for itself. We have a lot more work to do. I'll be following the news from Barbados from now on. I will see for myself what is really being done. If she's really governing that country in a proper way, or if she's just following the PNM style of governance.
I look forward to the continued work that we're going to do as a government. I look forward to the input from the new MPs and the new ministers. I think our record speaks for itself. We have a lot more to do. You know what? Let's get past this part and get on to the real work.
News from Nassau, Bahamas. The government on Thursday released more than 3,000 pages of commercial agreements underpinning the government's energy reform push, seeking to counter opposition criticism and quell a growing dispute over transparency. I think I reported that elections will be soon in Bahamas. Is this just a political stunt? Time alone will tell. International news now. Somaliland embassy in Israel is completed. Preparations for the establishment of the Somaliland embassy in Israel have been fully completed. The embassy, which is the first to be opened by Somaliland in Israel, is expected to be officially opened in the coming days. And remember, a lot of the Middle East nations were against Israel recognizing Somaliland as a sovereign nation. U.S. President Trump says, "Now is the time for Iran to join us on a path that will complete what we are doing, which is restoring diplomacy, and in his mind, restoring peace in the Middle East." You all know that the Bible says otherwise, though. They cannot continue to threaten the stability of the entire region. The president went on to say, they must make a deal or else bad things will happen. And we definitely see all the warships going into that area, into that region. So time alone will tell if Trump will actually take decisive action, important action that could restore diplomacy and democracy in Iran. But this is just more and more of talk and more talk, especially because of Witkoff. Now for the interesting facts segment, a wholesome viral video shows a snowy moment of pure joy as a woman laughs while making a snow angel, and her curious horse suddenly flops down beside her and rolls around in the snow too, looking like it wants to join in the fun. Horses naturally roll in snow for bonding and comfort, but the timing here makes it feel like a shared playtime between human and animal. The scene of them together in fresh snow has warmed hearts online and reminded people everywhere that happiness doesn't need words, just presence and trust. Closing off now with a travel segment. Petra, the rose city in Jordan, which will play a significant role in the end times, people. The final 7-year tribulation period is a magnificent UNESCO World Heritage Site and a new seven wonder of the world, famous for its temples and tombs, carved directly into pink sandstone cliffs. Visitors walk through the Sikh, a narrow canyon, to discover iconic structures like the treasury and the monastery. It is a massive must-see archaeological park, best explored over 2 to 3 days. I would definitely love to visit there. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content, even though, of course, the views are extremely low these days. And, of course, this is why I continue to ask people to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because what it does is push the algorithms to show the content to new viewers. Nevertheless, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.